Hey everyone, listen, if you're gearing up for your grade 12 Life Sciences National Senior Certificate exams, you already know that studying hard is a must. But what if I told you that studying hard isn't actually enough? It's studying strategically that really separates the average scores from those top-tier distinctions. Today, we're not just reviewing biology concepts, we're actually going to decode the exam itself. Consider this explainer your ultimate tactical survival guide. We're going to open up the examiner's playbook, looking closely at the latest diagnostic reports and the CAP's weighting guidelines to show you exactly where to focus your energy for the absolute maximum return. Okay, let's jump right into this.
Here's the tactical roadmap for this explainer. 1. The heavy hitters. 2. Golden years for practice. 3. Essential skill builders. 4. The red zone. And finally, number 5, the mark first rule.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the heavy hitters, or basically where the marks are hiding. Look, the NCSE exam is really just a massive numbers game, and the CAP's guidelines tell us exactly where to invest our time. In Paper 1, 41 marks are dedicated entirely to human reproduction. That is roughly 28% of your score right there. But you also can't overlook responding to the environment. That's a foundational pillar, carrying a staggering 54 marks. You guys, these aren't just topics you can casually review on a Sunday afternoon. They literally dictate your Paper 1 success.
Now let's shift over to Paper 2, 48 marks. That is the heavyweight value assigned to genetics and inheritance. And here's the thing. According to recent diagnostic reports, this is an area where learners consistently struggle with conceptual clarity. If you can master pedigrees, genetic crosses, and molecular biology, you are instantly securing almost a third of your Paper 2 grade.
And then we reach the ultimate heavy hitter, 54 marks. This is the exact weighting for evolution in Paper 2. Over 1/3 of the entire paper is dedicated to this single Term 3 topic. It's absolutely crucial that your revision time actually reflects this reality. I mean, you just cannot afford to spend equal time on a 10-mark topic and a 54-mark topic, right?
When we put all this data side by side like this, your study priorities become incredibly clear. By mastering just these major topics, along with responding to the environment, you're fundamentally securing the core of your final grade. So build your study timetable around these numbers. Let the data drive your schedule.
Moving right along to Section 2, Golden Years for Practice. So now we know what to study, but how should you be practicing? Well, the exams underwent a massive shift with the 2021 examination guidelines. If you're out there grinding through 2016 papers, you're honestly preparing for the wrong exam. Just look at the 2023 diagnostic report. It explicitly warns, it is imperative that candidates do not merely rely on rote learning. Memorizing the textbook is a total trap now. The examiners are actively designing these papers to test your real understanding, not just your memory.
To put that into perspective, recent exam papers from 2023 all the way to 2025 are designed to be a little unpredictable. You're going to face novel images, diagrams you've literally never seen in your textbook, and highly abstract contexts. They're going to ask you to link familiar biological principles to completely unfamiliar scenarios. That is exactly why practicing with those recent 2021 to 2025 past papers is your golden ticket. They train your brain for application, which is the only thing modern examiners really care about.
Which brings us to Section 3, Essential Skill Builders.
If you want to secure those higher-order marks, you absolutely must master scientific investigations. For practice, go directly to the 2023 Paper 1, Question 3, and the 2024 Paper 1, Question 2.4. You need to relentlessly practice identifying the independent and dependent variables, stating the aim, and pinpointing controlled variables. Examiners note that learners bleed marks here simply by giving generic answers instead of actually reading the provided data.
And while you're at it, please burn this distinction into your memory. Reliability improves by repeating the investigation or increasing the sample size. Validity improves when all influencing factors are kept constant. These two concepts trip up thousands of students every single year. You need to know this cold.
Visual diagrams are another big hurdle. You've got to be able to interpret them rapidly. For meiosis, practice identifying cell division stages using the Feb/March 2012 Paper 1, Question 2.1. For genetics, master using visible evidence in pedigrees with the March 2010 Paper 1, Question 1.5. And for evolution, test your skills at interpreting common ancestry on phylogenetic trees using the March 2012 Version 1, Paper 1, Question 1.4. Practicing these exact questions will stop you from freezing up on exam day when a weird diagram pops up.
Oh, and speaking of meiosis, here's a super high-frequency exam topic, abnormal meiosis,
specifically non-disjunction. You need to know exactly how it works. If homologous chromosomes fail to separate at position 21 during anaphase, it creates an abnormal gamete with 24 chromosomes. And if that gamete fuses with a normal 23 chromosome gamete, the result is Down syndrome. Knowing this exact biological chain of events is practically a guaranteed mark earner.
All right, brace yourselves. We are entering Section 4, the red zone. These are the common failure points you have to avoid.
Here are the fatal traps examiners see over and over again. First off, banish the word fairness from your vocabulary when discussing variables. You must use the word validity. Using fairness will cost you the mark. It's as simple as that. Second, there are massive failure rates on very specific concepts. You must clearly distinguish artificial selection from genetic engineering. Pull up 2023 Paper 2, Question 3.1 to see exactly how they test this. And you also need to master reproductive isolation. It completely tripped everyone up in the 2025 Paper 2, Question 3.3.
Another huge red zone? Writing conclusions. So many students try to use math terminology, saying the variables are directly proportional or inversely proportional. The diagnostic report strictly, and I mean strictly, warns against this. A conclusion must explicitly state the biological relationship between the specific variables you're testing. Also, beware of lethal spelling errors. Confusing glucagon with glycogen or ureter with urethra, that will cost you dearly. Don't let one missing letter ruin a perfect biological understanding.
And finally, Section 5, the Mark First Rule.
Now, this is a highly technical strategy that literally changes how you should write your list-based answers. Notice what is written in bold on this official marking guideline, right under the answers. Mark first two only. This is an absolute, unbreakable rule for the markers. If a question asks for 2 reasons, and you write down 4, the examiner will literally stop reading after your second bullet point. Even if your third and fourth points are pure genius, they score a 0.
So the strategy here is totally non-negotiable. Give your absolute best, most scientifically accurate, and most confident answers first. Do not just brain dump a huge list of random guesses hoping the examiner is going to kindly pick the right one out of the pile. They won't. Rank your answers in your head first and only write down your top-tier responses up to the number they asked for.
So, here's my final question for you. Are you still going to rely on reading the textbook cover to cover and just crossing your fingers for exam day? Or are you ready to be strategic? Prioritize those heavy hitters, drill the 2021 to 2025 past papers, completely sidestep those terminology traps, and rigorously apply the Mark First rule. You now have the ultimate examiner's playbook right in your hands. The only question left is, what are you going to do with it today?